Good afternoon, viewers and learners. I'm Dr. Usha Rana, Associate Professor, School of Gender and Development Studies. Today we will talk about the crime against women under the course of BWEE 012 Women in Society, Global Concern and Local Issues, which come under the DWED program. So, what is crime against women and why we are learning this? What will be the outcome of this session? So, for this, we will talk the meaning of the violence against the women and the crime often committed against the women. What kind of the crimes are there? Various forms of various violence against the women, and the contextualizing the violence against the women in the wider social, economical and political arena of power relations in the society, and the legislative measures available to get the protection from the crime against women. After this session, we will be able to learn this. Now, the violence against the women, why it is important? We are talking about the 50% of the population, 50% of the world population, which are existing in the world and continue facing a different kind of the crime. So we will discuss why we are required to address these all things. Because when we talk about the development, when we talk about the achievement of equality in the context of objective of democracy and the global concern about the equality, so there women somehow are facing a different status within a society. So we need to address what we should do, how the globally and socially, nationally, internationally, we need to think about that. The violence against the women continue violating the rights of women within a society, fundamental right, which is very important for everyone. We cannot think about the human being or the human right without the fundamental rights. So she is not enjoying her life as human beings, as an individual identity, which a person should live happily, avail their duties, avail their rights, and enjoy the life, the existence, what is there, she is there, she should be able to that. But because of the societal status, because of the many other issues which we'll discuss further in this talk, we will talk about how we can come over. The long standing of the failure, yes, we have to address not only the, we are talking about the India, we are also talking about the international stages, international communities, we are also taking a big action against that. So that is a big platform to talk. So, yes, we all know that is a crime against the women is a historically unequal power relations, which we call patriarchy. What is that? Women always takes a lower strata within a society. She works as a subordinate within a society. She could not lead in any arena which is political, economical and social. She has been facing a discrimination on the all stages of her life. So that is a point where we are going to discuss. That is a kind of a social mechanism which, like we talk about the cultural hegemony here, the cultural hegemony there, the social institution work like a way to subordinate a women. Men control the all kind of the right over the women. So that is a main key how the cultural hegemony is still after the, when we talk about the India after the 7 decade of the independent country, we are facing such kind of these things, and the cultural hegemony through the social institution which we call family, marriage, kinship and other religion specific. These are controlling to women not only her body, her sentiments, her emotion, economical and other all aspect of her life. So of course, when we talk about the women issues in India, when the government and society has started to talk about that, which was 1974 to 75, the decade. After that was for 10 years continue for the one decade, 1975 to 1985, which was known as a women development decade in our country. So there we started to talk about the women, why the women is not addressing in the all aspect of a life, whether it is a political, economical, social and other. So we started to address women's right. Why we have to talk about the women? Because women have a 50%, almost 50% population of our country. If we will not talk about their development, if we will not talk about their rights, if we will not talk about their opportunity, definitely we cannot talk about the development of a country, because we are talking here 50% of the population in the form of women. So that was a very big beginning within a country. There several women institutions came in existence. They started to work. They started to explore the history of women, understanding women, participation, women experience within a country, all part of a life, which is a social, economical, political, religion, social movement and other. What women did and what is our current status of the women within a country, and how we can improve the women's status, how the government will work further for that, what kind of the scheme we have requirement, what kind of the program, what kind of the law we will be required to further the uplift the status of women within a society. So that was a great step which has been taken by the government of India with the support of international organizations and with the support of internal women organization who has been informally working since long back in our country. So yes, now we will talk about the Indian status. When we talk about the women, of course, we have to talk about the class and a caste. We cannot talk without the class and caste to women, because class and caste exist under the patriarchy or within a patriarchy which operate by the patriarchy, and the caste in class, there we can see the subordinate condition of the women. When we talk about the class, of course, we are talking about a developed country. When we are talking about the caste, we are talking about the particular India, and class also comes within India. And so we are talking how the women are subordinated by the male, how the women are exploited with a different form of a caste, because we all have seen a lot of cases where the lower caste people are more sufferer or women are more sufferer compared to the other, because we all witnessed about the rape case of Mathura, which was very famous in 1972. There was the brainstorming kind of a thing, how the subordinate pupil or the lower caste or class pupil has been suffering with such kind of a things. So now when we talk about the broader aspect of the crime against the women, so we have to talk about the exploitation, we have to talk about the discrimination, upholding of unequal social and economical and social stature which is existing within our country, and the religion, cultural aspects, political violence, many things we can see. We have a several example to give on this platform, and we can talk how the women has been suffering in different aspect. We used to watch daily newspaper. There are several examples what is happening in our society and how it is happening, and how the women has been victimizing continue. So there is several forms when we talk about the crime against the women, that is a rape, murder, female genital mutilation, female feticide, many other which we will discuss further in the forms of crime against the women. So women has been kind of an instrument within a society. There the systematic inequality has been managed. How the systematic women has been subjected as an instrument. There she has been suffering continue. So her rights, her duties, her opportunity, all are deprived. So that is as we are talking in academic arena, there is a few definition which has been given from the United Nations and from the Branch and Colino. So that is kind of a significant population Like when we talk about the war, who suffers? We used to say that men are fighting a war, women are not. But the data used to say that women are more sufferer in a war. Now recently the war has, the globally we have been watching the wars. So the sex slavery can be seen, and how the women has been using in that war, and how she has been exploiting. There are several examples and cases can be seen through the media, through the news channels, through the newspapers. So that is how the definition has been key. Whatever there, the significant proportion of the population faced always torture, starvation, terrorism, humiliation, mutilation, murder, and it is because they are female. So that is a question for the entire system. That is a question entire humanity. Why? Because she is a female, so she is more exploited, and she has been facing the kind of crime as a more because being her sex as a female, or she gender as a female. So that is a kind of a consciousness which need to come, which need to understand by the state, by the common people, to come further with that. United States always talk about the define any act of a gender-based violence that result in or is likely to the result in a physical, sexual, mental harm or the suffering of women, including threats such as a concern, arbitrary and deprivation of the liberty, whether occurring in a public and a private life. So that is the academic definition. Later, we will talk different crimes against the women. Yes, we all are the witness. Domestic violence. We used to familiar with this term, domestic violence. What is a domestic violence, and why it is important to address? Domestic violence is one of the most brutal form of violence against a women, because women herself is not safe within her house. Within the four walls of her house, she is not safe. She is exploiting mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically. Continue with her intimate partner. We can call husband or her in-laws. So that's crimes can be seen on the daily basis. Globally, survey used to say 10 to 90% of the women experience physical assault by a partner, with up one of the four facing sexual violence. So that is a kind of a data there, not only in India, particularly in India, but also in other countries, other continents, there women are equally facing domestic violence. She is not safe within her house. She is continue torturing, she is continue assaulting, she is continue facing sexual, emotional traumas in her life. So how someone can be happy if someone is not happy in their own house? So when we can talk like when we talk about the context of India, we talk about the honor killing. We all familiar, dowry related murders. Every second day or every day we have a news about like someone has murdered due to the dowry demand. Someone has committed a suicide due to the dowry demand. So these kind of these cases are normal or accepted in a society. So wife betraying, that is a very normal, and in a normal family, middle class family, women not used to share if she is facing kind of a things within a family with her husband or in-laws. She rarely she used to. Then it becomes a limit. Then she used to share. Otherwise, she not used to share what is going through in her life. Even if some kind of things happening, then the people nearby who understanding thing, observing thing, not used to say, because it is commented, it is their personal matter. But this is not a personal matter. This is a life of someone who is facing a crime, and we need to make a crime-free society. So the social norms, whatever I shared earlier, I share like social norms sealed the society, how the society had made this is accepted behavior because he is a husband or they are her in-laws. So there is because of the social shielding, the legal framework also going to fail. Legal framework is not able to work because society has been covering, that is their personal affair, it is accepted, this is the family, they are husband wife, so it is accepted, but it is not accepted. This is some few pictures which has been covered by the reputed newspapers. So what is happening in our society and how the National Crime Record Bureau, High NCRB, National Commission of the Women has been addressing, and you can see the data, how many complaints has been addressing. This what I would like to share here, these complaints has been addressed because the very few proportion of the women could share. Many of still are not sharing because of social shielding, because the family is not ready to permit them. Her family saying, it's okay, but it's not okay. Like we have seen how the women and killed by their partners. What is happening? What kind of the society we are living? The unsafe space. You will see the housewife, the data, suicide data. 22,937 housewives committed suicide. Why they committed suicide? Because of domestic violence, because of dowry demands and other unacceptable behavior by their in-laws or by their family. So that is a data which alarms us to change our practices. Later, we will talk about that is one example which I would like to share here. We all are the witness of a COVID-19, what happened, and that is a picture which was more poor for the women who are living in a house. She faced more victimization, she faced more sexual violence during that period. The data show in this picture is saying and crying what is happening, how the 50% of population is not safe in our country. So now we will talk about the dowry related crime, although we had talked about little bit, but dowry related crime. What is a dowry? We all know the dowry is a gifts or cash or ornament and other things which has been given from the girl party to the male party. But we all know about the Dowry Prohibition Act came in 1961. But still it is continued because it is socially accepted. Although demanding a dowry is also an offense, but if you want to marry your daughter with a good son-in-law and you want a good husband for her, then you have to give the dowry, because that is a social accepted behavior. So society has accepting normally, and they are giving dowries in lakhs and crores also. So we have cases within a society there the significant amount of the money and the other things has been given, or it is accepting, but it is also becoming a cause of murder. So that is a crime, and of course there is a law. We all know if someone found in a catcher after taking, accepting and giving a dowry, so 6 months of prison and of course financial fine have to pay, but still it is adjusting. That is a data about the dowry death. Again, National Commission of Women data come from 2024. The NCB received 292 complaints linked with the dowry death, and 4,383 complaints related to dowry harassment as of mid of 2024. The data reflect the report complaint and not the total number of dead for the year. That was a half of a year data almost. And again, 2023 data, which was published recently, 2025, there was a 6,100 dowry death in India in 2023. How pathetic it is. And representing 40% increasing in the dowry death case compared to previous years. 2022 had less 24% dowry death, 23 has increased. So that is another pathetic picture of our social behavior. Now we will talk about the rape, which is the most committed crime in our country. Rape is the among of the crime against the women, affecting the all caste, all classes, all religion, on the all group of a society. It is definitely, deliberately, of course, this is a permitted act and frequently committed by the that is a very challenging. It always committed by the known one. That was a data. 79% of the cases of a rape committed by the known one of a victim. So that not by the stranger, that committed by the known one, equitous ones. So that was a kind of a thing which address our focus. What is happening? Women are targeted through their vulnerability and dishonor. That there is a different kind of the aspect. Sometimes it's due to the community pressure. Sometimes it happens because of some social issue, caste issue, or superiority complex, or to dishonor someone, to take a revenge. Different kind of things can be addressed on that platform. So, how we can address this? The case involving the family members rarely reported. Yes, that is true. There is a significant proportion of the case which has been addressed by the family member, kind of their cousins, their relatives, their friends. It rarely addressed because it's found as a stigma. It's found for the stigma. So the family or the relative, they used to shield it. Because if it will be come out from the family, then it will be the cause to encounter the family respect within a society, family honor within a society. So that kind of the practices we are watching here. Like the police and system judicially insensitivity, we can see the police, sometime we found the police itself involved in such kind of the crime. Mathura case known for that. Recent data, again you can see 31,290 rape cases in India in 2022 which were reported, and the significant proportion has not reported till now. That is a challenging. UP, Uttar Pradesh is a state which is the highest number of violence of a crime including rape. So that kind of a data we can see. Now we will talk about the prostitution and trafficking in women. Prostitution and trafficking, this is one of the heinous crime within a society. Lot of women's, lot of females, a lot of very small girl children, those who are facing a poverty, those who have not a good kind of the family or disturbing family, they used to involve directly or indirectly in the prostitution to survive. So, or they trafficked by the pupils who identified them as a vulnerable. So they trafficked and they introduced in the prostitution. So they also becomes the victims. There is several areas. They are the very small age of a women. They are in a 7, they are in a 8 or less than this, are involved, forcefully involved by the pimps and other middle persons. So they are forced to work such kind in environment. Their childhood, their entire life is spoiled because of such kind of the practices in our country. So, sex worker into the condition enabled, definitely they are also police protection. There is a lack of a police protection. A lot of amendment has been done within a country, but their status is not changing. We had an act in 1986. Earlier we had a Sita, suppression of immoral trafficking women, and the Girl Child Act. So, or latest, the Supreme Court has given the verdict in 2022, which was about the protection of a right and give them permission to make the profession as a prostitution with some rules. So that is a kind of a change, but still their situation is pathetic. They are not living a normal life. They are continue harassing with the socially, emotionally, physically, sexually, and they, of course, their next coming generation also the facing the same thing, because it is a stigma. They cannot change their life as a normal life. Now we will talk about the sexual harassment. Sexual harassment, definitely, that is, I would like to share here one of my research. I conducted research with a 250 girl student, which came from the different part of the country, and just in particular in this Delhi as an NCC candidate. And I conducted a study with all these girls. They shared there was not a single female who didn't face eve teasing in her life. Each one of them has faced eve teaching in the different forms. So we can say in the India there is a very less proportion maybe, or I think no, 100% of the women in their life, whether they belong to any caste, class and strata, they faced eve teaching in their life. So that is a kind of a crime which demoralize women, which suppress their opportunity, and they make the life hell for them. Even as we all know, the unmarried women becomes the more victim in the such crime, and they face more pathetic situation, and their life becomes a hell. So female feticide, we all know about that, the sex ratio of our country, although some good sign has been given with the new National Family Health Survey. There is a good future prediction in next census we will find a good result of the sex, but still the real situation is very pathetic. The women's situation is very bad. The female feticide is still existing after the modern technology has been supporting that. Although the act is there, government has been working for that, but still the situation is same. The sex ratio has been declining, and we know about the situation of the state like Haryana. There is a sex ratio is very pathetic, and other central India's state also have the same situations. So there is a lot of law. Government has been working and giving the guarantee, particularly in our India. Our constitution gives a protection to women for her life in all aspects of their life. But victims of the various form of the women's are within a male-dominated society has been suffering a lot. Media representation and violence has been working on that. Increasing crime in society as a result of, we all know, the poverty, we all know that it is the illiteracy, we know the ignorance, poor enforcement, legal provisions, and definitely traditional values which we have been seeing continue in our society. We know that is a kind of a law which is there. So the IPC, CRPC and IEA, or now new Nyaya Sanhita has been acted with a lot of change in existing law. But still the situation is almost pathetic. Special law, we all talk about during our discussion, but still we know from the Sati Pratha, from the female feticide, from the Dowry Prohibition Act, from the Domestic Violence Act 2005, Workplace Harassment Act 2013, and now a lot of change can be seen, like now government has been coming with the Verma Committee for the support the women, and recently 2022 discussion for the women. So, but still the things are pathetic. Things are not changing in that way which we are requiring. So the special law we had talked about. Now the UN declaration. UN has been continue working from the 1993, which is known the UN Declaration on the Elimination of Violence Against the Women. But still the situation is pathetic. Recently we have seen in 2024 International Day for the Elimination of the Violence Against the Women theme. Every 11 minutes a woman is killed. No excuse. Unified to end the violence against the women. So in this way we have discussed about the crime against women, and we are hoping in coming future we will come over this. Thank you.